out with the doors.
Oh, come. Thanks, Craig.
The police to the left.
For the start.
Huh? Yeah. Police to the left.
Any version for the start.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit more detail.
In a good way.
If,
Yeah.
yeah, for,
Like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
oh, wait.
I pledge allegiance
To
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to issue the oath of office to our new board members. And you are going to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New York,
of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of our office
of the Board of Education member
of the Board of Education member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Can you sign this for me? I do solemnly swear that
I do solemnly swear that
I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New York,
of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
the office of Board of Education member
the office of Board of Education member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Repeat after me.
Repeat after me.
I do solemnly
I
swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
the office of Superintendent of Schools
the office of Superintendent of Schools
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Perfect. Can you sign that for me, please? Perfect. I would now like to take nominations in order for President of the Board of Education for the 2026-27 school year.
I nominate Steve Sable.
A second.
Any other nominations? Okay, nominations are closed. All those in favor of electing Steve Sabo as Board President of the Board of Education, please say aye. Perfect. Steve Sabo is elected President of the Board of Education for the 26-27 school year. I'd like to now issue the oath of office to Steve. Ready? Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York.
and I will faithfully discharge
And I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Board President
of Board President
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Who signed this one? Oh, yeah, one here. Thank you.
All right, this time we'll call for nominations for the Vice President of the Board of Education.
I'd like to nominate Wendy Cox.
It's been moved in second. Any other nominations? If not, we'll close nominations. All those in favor of electing Wendy Cox as the Vice President of the Board of Education, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. All right, appointment of other officers, item 6. We will do this section and then we'll go in groups after this. So this is going to be A through H. Oh, yeah. Ah,
On this one. Wait, do I have this? Yeah, top part.
yeah, we do need to vote on 6A though first before you take the oath.
Oh, you have to do that vote on those?
Yeah, the 6A.
Oh,
You
vote on-
voted as the
okay.
district clerk and then you take the oath of office.
Okay,
So we'll do 6A then. Call for a motion.
Stay here.
to accept- Yeah, just stay here. Call for a motion to for Renee Tecasio to be the district clerk for the Board of Education from 7/1/26 to 6/30/27. Been
Second.
moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. All right, please raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of office of district clerk
the duties of office of district clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
You're welcome. All right, then I'll call for a motion for item 6B to 6H. And H is amended as the internal claims auditor. It's not on our the digital version of it. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. All right, we will go through items 7A and B, 8A, 9A, and we'll do 10A. So the appointments to the Board of Education for insurance agent, student accident insurance agent, treasuries, internal claims auditor, district couriers, and tax collector, tax collection billing amount, depositories. Is there a motion to accept those items?
So moved. Second.
Anyone opposed or against? Any discussion? For any of the items, if there is an item for discussion, please just jump in, let me know. All those in favor then, please say aye. Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Okay, call for a motion to accept items 11A, the designation of official newspapers. 12A, approval of petty cash funds. 13A, approval of the designation of signatures for checks. And 14, the authorization to sign contracts.
Second.
You moved and seconded. All those in favor then, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining, motion carries. Call for motion to accept items 15, authorization for bid opening. 16, adoption of cooperative bidding and resolution. 17, approve the best value bidding resolution. And 18, the authorization for signatures on claims and payrolls.
Make a motion. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining, motion carries. Call for motion to accept item 19, approve meeting dates, times listed in the Board of Education calendar. 20, the authorization to invest district funds. 21, the authorization to make credit applications. And 22, the adoption of policies and bylaws.
So moved. Second.
No, okay, after discussion, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded. Okay, discussions?
Yep, for the meeting dates, it was the question that needed to be answered by this group was whether or not we're moving, if we're gonna move that meeting so that we can vote on the BOCES budget.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Oh, to the
the
20th.
20th.
Yeah, we gave those out at the last meeting, so what that would mean,
Thursday.
it's up there. If everybody's comfortable with that, so that would be you'd be adopting what's there with Thursday being the meeting.
It won't be a Wednesday, it'll be a Tuesday.
Cor-
Tuesday.
Whatever your meeting date is.
It
Yeah.
would be go to a Tuesday meeting
Yeah,
for it to be
Tuesday.
done before the Wednesday
Tuesday.
meeting for
I
your
have
board.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be on the 20th instead of the 21st.
The only other item I wanted to discuss with that, the calendar piece there is that I will not be here on the 19th, and I just want to make sure Wendy is, yes, it's a little hard to have her here. So, I am away that week,
When is that?
the 19th of August. That's not the August summer.
What
meeting.
are the- what- Oh, is that what we're doing? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that we have a quorum, just go, all of you, none of you are going away on it.
One in July, one in August.
When I'm doing it, when-
Oh, I thought it was-
Oh, and the 19th.
You're
Up
away.
there at the top.
Huh?
You're away. You're away.
I'm away.
Yeah.
No, that's July. Huh? I'm away? I'm away. Oh, man.
Glad your secretary's here with us now.
I
Okay.
know, I can, right now, I can. I'll be here.
Okay. But I think Wendy will be here, that we'll have a quorum. We can always put something out afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah,
If you have to, if the board has to change it, you can certainly do
well,
that.
we can change it later, right?
But it
Yeah.
sounds like you'll have a quorum.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
All right, all those in favor of accepting those items, please say aye. Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. That was, we went up to what, 20, number 21 or 22 there,
That was up to,
or 20?
22.
22, okay. So items, call for motion to accept items 23, the appointment of committees on special education and preschool. Item 24, the appointment of impartial hearing officer. Item 25, the appointment of surrogate parent, and item 26, the approve the appointment of staff on an interim basis.
Make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstaining, motion carries. Call for a motion to accept item 27, approve school physicians. 28, to approve the homestead, non-homestead tax rate system for levying property taxes. Item 29, the authorization to submit applications and reports for federal school lunch and milk programs. And item 30, the authorization to file for federal grant applications.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Call for motion to accept items 31, to appoint the school attorney, 32, to the appointment of civil service officer. Item 33, the appointment of Title IX compliance officers, and item 34, the appointment of external auditors.
Motion.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Call for a motion to accept item 35, the appointment of internal auditors. Item 36, the appointment of district audit committee. Item 37, the appointment of capital project committee, and item 38, the appointment of policy committee.
Second.
All those in favor then, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Call for a motion to accept item 39, the adoption of the 913 resolution. Item 40, the appointment of the district records management officer. Item 41, the appointment of district records access officer for freedom of information law. And item 42, the appointment of the district records access appeals officer for freedom of information. Second. Moving seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Call for a motion to accept item number 43, the appointment of the Orleans Niagara Health Insurance Consortium representative. Item 44, to approve the yearly mailing of reasonable assurance letters. Item 45, the authorization for sports playoffs and sectional competitions. And item 46, to approve the resolution for authorization of budget transfers.
Make a motion.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Call for a motion to accept item 47, the authorization for the approval of employee travel and the approval of travel by the superintendent. Item 48, to approve the mileage reimbursement rate. Item 49, to approve the bond council, and item 50, to approve the Medicaid compliance officer. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Call for a motion to accept item 51, to approve the educational official. Item 52, to approve the Dignity Act coordinators. Item 53, to approve the fiscal consultants, and item 54, to approve the administrative investment firm.
Make a motion.
I'll second it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Call for a motion to approve item 55, to approve the agreement with the Medicaid Consulting Services. Item 56, to approve the Athletic Code of Conduct. Item 57, to approve the attendance officer, and item 58, to approve the representative and signatory to the Niagara Power Coalition and Host Community Standing Committee.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Call for motion to approve item 59, to approve the adherent compliance officer. Item 60, to approve the school pesticide representative. Item 61, to approve the chemical hygiene officer, and item 62, to approve the district residency officer.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Call for a motion for item 63 to approve the homeless liaison. Item 64 to approve the substitute fingerprint reimbursement. Item 65 to approve cell phone use. And item 66 to approve the Indian policies and procedures.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. At that time, I would call for a motion of adjournment for the reorganizational meeting.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? We're adjourned from the reorg. We'll give it about 4 minutes and then we'll go into the. Okay, there we are. Please stand for the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's always there.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent for the presentation of the district-wide safety plan and the public hearing report.
Great. So. So I think everyone can see it up there, and just under, if you could stop there, the table of contents, those are all the items that we have to cover each year with our district safety plan. There haven't been any real material changes to the district safety plan this year. What I want everybody to know is that each building then has a building plan. Those building plans are very specific. They're not public knowledge. They do not get posted on our website. The district-wide plans have to. It includes the contracts that we have with our with Lewiston Police for our SROs. The plan includes the contracted amount that we have for our SSOs. So all of that's included within our district-wide safety plan. We have a district-wide safety team that meets quarterly. There are members of law enforcement, the person who's kind of the lead for our SSOs. We have Rob Hoover that represents the fire. And then we have representatives from the different union organizations. All of our administrative team is a part of that group. Bob actually this past year has represented, maybe the last couple of years, has represented the board. It's some of the, I think, critical work that we do. We then have the information that we put together as a team there goes through our safety risk specialist who works for BOCES and is making sure that our plan is aligned with what the state requirements are. Okay. And so that's the final plan that you're seeing there. The requirement is that we do what I'm doing right now and show you the plan. And again, it is available online. And then there has to be an opportunity for people to, what's next on the agenda, which is a hearing if there's any questions.
Any questions on the safety plan, superintendent? Nope. All right, then. Do we have any public signed up for the? All right.
Oh, we got one more.
Well, I mean, we got the hearing part, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just saying for the hearing.
Oh, got it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if there's anyone that talked
Gotcha.
for the hearing of that.
Gotcha.
All right, if there's no one, we'll close the public hearing of the district-wide safety plan then, and I will move it over to the superintendent then for the presentation of policy 8260.
Okay, thank you. This policy, again, each year needs to be approved by the board, and it has to be presented to the public. Has to be presented to the public, and we have to have also a public hearing. The purpose of this policy is to ensure that community members have an opportunity to ask any questions, comments, make recommendations regarding our parent and family engagement. Okay, there are a number of different organizations and entities within the district that also look at this during the course of a school year, with the idea that having this policy as one of the requirements to receive title funding. We receive Title I funding. That Title I funding is primarily used for counselors in our district. And so we have to present this and then give an opportunity each year for a public hearing on it.
Okay, as for the public hearing, and also with no one signed up, then we will close the public hearing. And we'll move the privilege of the floor. If there's any residents that have not been able to sign up, you can talk at this time, should you wish. And if not, we will move on to the consensus agenda items. All right, the consensus agenda items, I'll call for motion to accept items 1 through 9 as listed.
Second.
They've been moved and seconded. Anything to separate or discuss? If not, all those in favor then, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Okay, the personnel items, call for motion to accept items numbers 1 through 29 for personnel report.
Second.
It's been moved and second. No, I
We're
know.
gonna do it after.
You-
You get the
Yeah.
motions first, then you separate.
Yeah. All right, we will separate items 2, 4, and 5. So I'll call for a vote then on items 1, 3, and then 6 through 29.
So.
What are you calling a vote?
Wow.
All those in favor then, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. All right, we're gonna go back to item 2.
Okay, so tonight we have, Dana said, no, Koza. For a special education teacher at Edwardtown Middle School. She grew up in Lewiston and graduated from Newport. She went to college at St. Bonaventure where she played soccer, as she did in high school. And then she moved out west to teach in Scottsdale and Las Vegas. She lived out there and stayed at home to raise her family, and then she just came back to teaching. And so she is excited to and looking forward to working at Edwardtown Middle School. So I recommend Dana to the position at Edwardtown Middle School.
All right, we've already had a motion for that, but all those in favor of then accepting Dana as the position of 1.0 FTE special ed teacher at Edwardtown, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Congratulations. Yeah, item 4.
Serene. Next, we have Serena Dell, joining Eric Road Elementary School as a 15-1 special education teacher. She earned her master's degree in special education from Buffalo State University. She has previous experience as a co-teacher and consultant teacher. She grew up in Western New York and is a Bills fan, and is recently engaged and getting married next September. She enjoys spending time with her dog Winnie.
All those in favor then of accepting Serena as a position of 1.0 FTE special ed teacher at Eric Road, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Congratulations.
All right, next we have Ava Lynch. She's being recommended to the elementary teacher position at Eric Road Elementary School. She also graduated from Newport. And she went to UB, where she got her bachelor's in psychology. She got a master's in education from Nara University, and she's certified to teach birth through grade 6. She's been a building-based substitute at Colonial Village and at Eric Room. She loves reading, staying active through yoga, and walking with friends, and she likes listening to music.
All those in favor of accepting Ava as the 1.0 FTE elementary teacher at Eric Road, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstaining? Motion carries. Congratulations. All right, we're coming to standing committees and. Oh. We're coming to standing committees, and at this time, I want to get everyone's view on what committee they would like to serve on.
I'd like to stay on the same ones I'm on.
Hi, yeah, what are you on again?
I'm on capital projects. I can give up policy. Somebody wants to take that one.
Greg, so you'll take anyone,
What audit?
You're on, what are you on,
All right.
capital
I'm on capital
and safety?
and safety. I'm on the safety too.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's slow down for a second. Who is currently on policy that's here besides myself? I know it's
Wendy.
Wendy, myself, and Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can give that one up also. If you guys would like to serve on policy, they'll give you
Sure.
an idea of everything on there then. So, okay. So, Bob, I'm gonna leave you or I'm gonna take you off. I'm gonna put Wendy, Dawn, and Amy, right? Stephanie, that's it. Oh my God. It's a
He
long
doesn't
day.
know my name either.
I don't.
now usually those meetings, I believe, are on.
To just-
Or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're right
So
before the
just
school board
let you-
meeting. Yeah.
They
It's like-
precede the board
It's
meeting.
usually at 5.
Bob, you and I are on capital project, and I want
Right.
to stay on that, and then you are on, you want to go on there? Okay. And then audit,
I'll stay
you're
on
gonna
it.
stay on it, okay. And you said you really wanted to be on it, right,
Dawn said she would.
John? Okay. And one more person on audit.
I'll be on it.
You'll be on audit. Okay, Stephanie. All right, and safety,
One,
I'm on safety.
but
You're on
Greg's on as
He's
well.
already on it.
So
Yeah,
you
do
actually
the
have 2
other-
reps.
we have 2 reps, all right, so we
I'm
can
the rep,
keep the
yeah.
same there then?
Requirement is 1.
He's there too.
In work capacity.
Yes.
That's fine.
Just great.
Okay, if I can just go back down to one committee, I'm fine. All right, so policy committee board representation will be Wendy, Dawn, and Stephanie. Capital project will be Bob, myself, and Craig. Audit will be Rick, Dawn, and Stephanie, and safety will be Bob and Craig. All right, Bob, do you have anything new for the capital project committee?
No, I don't really. No, we're still hoping for August ribbon cutting.
November, okay. All right,
Don't even say that, Steve.
We'll be doing a ribbon cutting in August. We
Yeah,
just have
okay.
to select a date.
You guarantee it, right?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
wow. You didn't say that in March.
Only because we could probably do a ribbon cutting.
No, we don't want none of those.
But we're,
Yeah.
All right, Rick, anything from audit?
No.
All
just make it, you know, when you want to-
We will need to have a meeting over the summer before our external auditors kick off, so I'll reach out to you to make sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, it's official student member.
Welcome.
I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very excited for the school year. It's my senior year, so it's glad to represent, I can vote on, and anything that I wrote down there, you guys were the first to know. I was very grateful, very blessed to be here.
All right, I'm gonna move right over to the superintendent's report.
thank you. First, I want to thank all of the people who made graduation an incredible success. It was a packed house as usual. We were very fortunate with the weather on day 2 when we moved it. There was actually a sunset that was there by the end of graduation. So it was beautiful, nice breeze, really perfect weather. So for it, we got lucky on day 2. But the you know, Greg Phillips and his entire crew, the facilities group. I mean, it's a lot of work getting all of the activities ready at the end of the year, but especially that one. And they do an incredible job and certainly deserve a ton of credit. And I want to just say, our families are amazing, right? When we had to move this, there were very few people who there was, criticism or critical, and I get it, it's highly emotional, right? But very few. And that night, we asked our families to make sure that they didn't, use any of those confetti cannons and things like that. And I'll tell you, when in a lot of places where you would ask that, you wouldn't get the cooperation. They understand that that's the turf and they don't want to ruin that turf. And, the reaction by our families is so representative of what we see with our kids almost all the time too. So it was that, even though it seems like a small thing, it was a really important thing, particularly for all of those people I mentioned at first, who do so much work for the district to prepare for that, the facilities department, when they're not trying to pick little pieces of confetti out of that, so it doesn't get in degrade the turf. So thank you to everybody who made that night happen. It was a really special night. So great job to everyone. We talked about the calendar already. We're going to do a little presentation regarding electric vehicles or ZEB. That we'll talk about in a little bit. August 5th is the law conference. I know one of the board members signed up, just so everyone understands. Our administrative team, we have a large contingent that goes to that every year. I think some of the board members would tell you that there will be a lot of overlap, especially on the legal side, with what's covered there, with what would be covered at the NISBA conference, what's covered at the NISCUS conference that I attend. Reason for that is because it's the stuff that comes in the 1-year cycle, right? Any changes to the law, whether that's federal, state, any court cases that would impact education, those are the things that tend to be covered. So they tend to, all of those meetings, the legal part of those meetings will focus on that, so everybody knows. If you're interested in going to that law conference, just please reach out to Renee, okay?
Real quick, Dan, registration deadline for that is absolute latest is July 22nd,
There you go.
and it takes place on August 5th.
Thank you.
I do have papers for you guys, I'll give you later. Look different.
I had a conversation with one of the representatives from NISBA. Each year they call me, they send some information, I'll send it out to you. They have 3 things that they asked me to pass along to the group. One, they do have, they've started something where they have legislative liaisons. So if there's a member of the board who would like to be and you can think about this, you don't have to tell me today, that would like to be the legislative liaison, what it means, it's no extra meetings, it's not, you would be the kind of the conduit to the rest of the board. In anything that was important, that was legislative related, you'll get those emails and then you can kind of share that information, okay? You'll also need to have a voting delegate. The voting delegate last year was Jason, so you'll need a voting delegate. And there's also some new member trainings that they started putting together that were new in 25-26. So they're going to be continuing that again this year. And they said they're going to have some additions. So for our new members, if you have any interested in that, I'm going to end up forwarding that entire email to all of you. But if you have any interest in that, you can contact Renee. Okay.
Right off the top of our head, is anyone here aware that they are going to go to the NISBA conference? I know with you guys being new, are you gonna go?
In October?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going.
all
It's
right,
in Buffalo.
because I'm probably not gonna go to that one. So one of you will, whoever's going to attend will designate as the voting member, so you can vote that day. Or whenever they change it sometimes to be that day before it.
Maybe Wendy will go.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we have someone
Yeah,
going
no,
down there that can
I'm
be our
going.
voting member
I'll be
as a
there.
board member. Okay.
I think I already put it through BOCES, so.
And I just, have, let's see, one more thing here. NISBA conference is the 22nd through the 24th. Steve just mentioned it. That's the date. So again, if you haven't signed up, do you have the date for that when they have to sign up by, Renee?
Not yet, they haven't issued the deadline.
Okay.
It's usually by August sometimes.
Okay.
They open it.
So just give that some thought if you're interested, the 20, and it's on your sheets there, the 22nd to the 24th. And that's all I have.
All right, any questions of the superintendent on his report? All right, if not, we will move on to reports to the board. For our EV study. Or the ZEV study.
Zero emission buses, for those of you who are not. For those not aware of what that stands.
We need more acronyms.
Use that either today. No. Here we go. The power button. Yeah, there's two. You should have to have two. That's right, that's right. Even power buttons on microphones. Thank you, Mike. Okay, so for those not aware, the district had a zero emission vehicle study done. Many districts in New York State have had this done now. It took well over a year for this plan this transition plan to be put together. We worked with a number of different groups. NIPA and Wendell actually were the two groups who worked on our behalf to get the funding through NYSERDA to pay for this study. Okay, the whole idea was this. Each district in New York State has been asked to transition to zero emission buses. But what would that take? Not what would that take for the state, but what would that take for the district to be able to do that? And what are the associated costs? What's a fair timeline, a schedule? So that's what is laid out here. Now, this is broken down into 12 pages, I think. I don't know how many slides it was. The actual report, was it 80 something pages? Does that sound right? Okay, so the actual report was a lot larger. I can send that to all of you if you're interested. Okay, it'll put you to sleep at night, I'm sure. But I'm happy to send it. If you go to the next slide. These are the groups that played a role. Go ahead. It just talks about who NIPA is. Keep going. Who Wendell is. Keep going. Okay, so stop right here. So this slide was presented as part of a package prior to what's changed in the state. You can see that it says by 2027, all new school bus purchases need to be zero emission. So that's no longer the case. It's been moved back 5 years. So in other words, by 2032, we will have to start buying zero emission buses unless something changes before that. Okay, so the second date, by 2035, all of them have to be turned over to zero emission. That moves back 5 years as well. So in other words, by 32, we have to start buying them. And by 2040, our entire fleet is supposed to be zero emission buses. Is that? So the idea is, if we're going to get there, what does that look like? All right. So if you go to the next slide, here's what they put together. Here's the work, right? They had a kickoff meeting, they collected data, did route analysis. And in the end, they provided us with a final report. Now, their analysis had to do with both the buses, but also what it would take to charge the buses, both from the district side and from the utility side. So all of that is incorporated into this study that they did for our district specifically. Okay, next. They anticipated energy requirements per route, the battery size requirements, all of those things were looked at. So what they did is they looked at our actual buses, they looked at our actual routes, and they said, if we run these routes can the electric buses handle it? Right? So then they did a route analysis. They took all of the things on that screen, I'm not gonna read them to you, into account. I mean, you know, the example, Western New York, I know not today, but in the winter, the extreme cold, those affect the life of the battery. So all of that was taken into account when they did this study. And they did this study, when they did the study, and they ran the math on all of this, it was with the idea of some of the worst case, you know, weather scenarios, you know, that we have here in Western New York. So that was all taken into account. At the end of the day, they looked at all of our bus routes. So if you look where it says route buses, 54 spare buses, those are the extra buses that we have. Some, you know, a lot of those are older buses that we actually have, and they'll actually go into runs when all of the other buses may be out, if we have extra runs that are going on. And some of them are just older buses. When some of our buses are being worked on, those other buses are then rotated back in, right? After we get to a certain number of miles on all of these buses, we then look to sell them. Okay. Now, when we do eventually transition to this plan, whatever that is, we would then be replacing them with EV buses. We found in this study, they found in this study, that there were 13 bus routes that cannot currently be performed. Okay. One is unlikely to be able to be transitioned by the time the mandate period is in play. In other words, there were 14 runs that right now wouldn't work. However, of those 14, they believe that the technology will be there with the batteries by the time we would get there, that 13 of them would be okay. It would be now, but they would be by then, okay? And that there's one bus route that it wouldn't be. So then the question is, what do you do with that run? Or any of these runs that you can't do? Well, you have choices, right? You have to change the runs, which in many cases means adding more runs, which then you need more drivers for, and you would need more buses for. So that's all something we have to keep in mind, right?
Okay, so going into the utility requirements, like Dan said, they analyzed all of the bus routes, but then they also looked at our current infrastructure for electricity and how much we're getting from National Grid currently, what the grid can handle. On the district side, infrastructure will require a new high voltage electrical service, a new utility transformer, a new main switchboard and distribution switchboards, and a separate transformer. On the utility side infrastructure, they anticipate needing new underground electrical lines. They said that National Grid believes that the substation has enough capacity, but they would require new power lines and feeders. And but a full study would still have to be done by National Grid in order to get that confirmation, and that's a lengthy process, and it has a cost associated with it as well. With an existing capacity, we can install up to 5 level 2 chargers without doing any big infrastructure changes. They gave us a proposal for our procurement schedule. This is different milestones in the bus count. And then they worked it into phases. So with this first phase, you can see that they took into account the parking lot. So they put the chargers first around the edge of the parking lot and not to disturb our relatively new parking lot. And then during this phase, we would have the study for the utilities and other power infrastructure improvements. That's just another graphical representation.
And Jude, can I just mention one thing?
Yeah.
So if you just go back one, yeah. So if you look down there with that optional piece, I mean, I couldn't imagine a situation where the individuals who are making this recommendation would say that there's an optional fire upgrade, right? What are we gonna say? No, don't put that in, right? I think we would probably end up doing that. So I looked at that, just so you know, as it's a $6.4 million cost. All right.
And to note, during these phases, it does not include the cost of the bus. when you see the totals at the bottom for each of the infrastructure costs. So phase two, it shows the map of where they would put in new chargers, and then phase three as well. Has a little bit, phase three had a little bit more power improvements. So then going on to the grants and incentives, current bus costs, to give you an idea, cost us about $175,000, where electric bus costs us $400,000. So there's a voucher program available for our first 10 buses that we purchase, using a voucher incentive program, and it's designed to cover the difference in the cost between the fuel gas buses and electric powered buses. So using the type C bus as an example, adding in the base voucher, we are a priority district, and the scrappage bonus that comes out to $245,000, which is just a little bit more than the difference between the electric bus and a fuel bus.
So did everybody hear that? So in other words, the voucher, all of the incentives put together, the goal was to get districts who are doing it down to what will be the price of the electric bus after you take those incentives. And as a district, we're able to, because we're considered a priority district, do that for 10 buses. Anybody remember the slide? How many buses do we have?
61.
Over 60, right? So 10 of them would qualify.
It's a one-time deal, is that what it is?
Correct. For now.
I know what
Yes.
you're saying.
And Bob, when I say for now, I haven't heard as if there's anything else on the horizon or
Right,
anything
right.
like that. So,
I mean, because we normally give what, 6, 8?
yeah, no.
A year.
But I was saying like each year, and that's why they were using 7 across the board.
Right.
We average about 7 a year. We've done 8 some years. I've done less. We usually buy 7 or 8 buses every year.
There's also grants and incentives for chargers. So again, we're a priority district, in the base voucher would be $35,000. And the fleet electrification plan bonus per bus is $65,000. Where there's a limit on how many we can purchase with that as well. And then for the charging infrastructure, they have a make ready program, so that would help pay for 90% of the utility side infrastructure costs, which is still the unknown piece that we would, once we do a study, we would know more about how much that would cost, done by National Grid, and then up to 50% of the customer side costs for our infrastructure here.
So if you take a look at these numbers, right, you can see the 3 phases at the top and the costs of those all put together. They didn't include it, I think they should, but the 1.4 is down at the bottom is the optional fire protection phase. You can see that at the bottom. Really, I would put that up with the 5 million, but using their numbers for now. The total infrastructure cost is 12 million. Then you can see the cost of the fossil fuel fleet replacement. Okay, the total approximate cost of the electric fleet replacement, being 26 million. And then if you look down below the estimated incentives, okay, you get both types for the buses and for the chargers. When you take those incentives out that you would get for the number of items that we can be in essence reimbursed for, you can see the total estimated incentives equal 5.83 million. So you take that off of that number, you end up at about $22 million. When we do the math over that same time, if we were turning all of our buses over, okay, without doing any of this other stuff, it would be approximately half that cost. Okay, just so everybody understands. Now, that said, remember, we get a certain percentage back on every bus we purchase, like right now, right? But we would be getting that same amount back on a higher price bus. So something to keep in mind, right?
You're saying we get more back?
Well, we would, no, in the end,
Percentage-wise,
we'd
right?
be paying more, right?
Still be paying
So
more,
we would
right?
get more back, exactly, but we'd be paying
Still
more.
be paying more.
So if you take, $400,000 and you say that we're getting consideration right now. So 20%, right? If it's a $400,000 bus and we get 20% back, we're getting $800,000 back, but we spent $320,000, right? As opposed to, excuse me, they spent $320,000. We're getting 20% back. We spent $320,000. We're on a regular bus. How much? 175 now. If we're getting 20% back on that, we're getting about $35,000 back at 170. We're spending about, it's about $140,000. So 140,000 versus what was the other number I gave you? 300. You see the difference? I mean, it's significant. There's a significant difference. Go ahead.
The other thing to consider is that the state is struggling to support us now, so how are they gonna be able to pay for all of that aid? Like, our ratios can end up lowering because they can't support that much.
Yeah, in other words, thank you. You just have to read that, right? That's if at the end of the day, they're not able to bring down the buses. Do we really think that the part of the pie in New York State that goes to education, that they're gonna move a whole bunch more over to pay for the buses? I mean, I don't. So what are they gonna take? They're gonna take it from the money that's already going to education. You know, I think that just makes sense as to how they would do that. So that's certainly a concern too. This is just a slide showing what the environmental savings are. Those matter, okay? 100%, they matter. I think, and then I personally believe they matter a lot, but they matter, I think, to a district, to an educational institution. The question is, can districts afford this cost, this transition, without any adjustments in price to the buses and some of the things, right? So, go ahead, Bob.
So the usage with the electric and the fuel we put in these buses, we haven't done any analysis on that yet, right?
Well,
how much do we spend a
as
year?
far as cost, that right there is just this, like the environmental cost.
Yeah,
right?
no, what I'm saying is, yeah, if we went to get down to nitty gritty, how much are we actually spending for fuel and what's our estimated electric gonna cost us? Is that, it's gonna be different.
That is not, I don't think that was part of their 84, but they said that's something that they do.
They have it, yeah, they do have a section in the full report about utilities and the costs, but I don't think it's been updated since last fall.
And was it specific to just us, or was it? Yeah, so there's a number of like tricky parts to that, right? That we'd actually have to do a really in-depth study for us, because as a district, we receive some favorable rates when it comes to electricity. One thing that I want to say, and please don't hear this as like me deterring these buses. I'm not. But one of the things that I'm concerned about, and anybody who lives near Saunders Settlement, okay, it has experienced this. We have issues with power, right? There'll be days when it goes out, when it flickers, it messes with our systems, it messes with our servers. We have snow days. Some people wish we had heat days. But I mean, imagine the day that we wake up and we have an electric vehicle bus day. Because it's real. I mean, as a matter of fact, the day that there were a few of us who brought a lot of these players in the electric world in Western Europe together for a conference, the day that we did that, we had an outage that affected a lot of places. The day that we were actually supposed to have it the initial time, we ended up having to reschedule. And when that happened, places lost power. And when they lost power, we didn't even know ahead of time. We don't know until somebody comes in the morning. So even though the power was back up, and it might have been up at somebody else's house in the district, and they're going, what's wrong? But our buses were charging overnight. Right? I mean, those things are all very real. So, again, I'm not against this at all. I just think we have to be very cautious as to how we approach it. So, Dan will talk a little bit about, I think it's the next slide. Oh, no, I'll do this one. So that right there is just a mock schedule. There's no dates on there. It just says year 1, year 2, year 3. Whenever the district would start, they have, you can see those little boxes that are filled. It would show you what needs to happen first and the timelines for those things to happen before we could actually get up and running. Okay. They did in this presentation put together like the constraints, like the utility has stated that they foresee major upgrades will be required, including upgrading the feeder costs. Up to 90% of their cost is reimbursable, 50% of ours. Some of the things that they need to do, there's already a 15-month backlog for doing some of that work. My guess is this: one of the presentations that we orchestrated in Western New York, a few of those were happening around the state, and I think that really led to a lot of people going, we might just need to take a little bit of a step back here, right? To make sure that the power is ready for the project. And so you can read the rest of those that are on there, and you have it in your back. So do you want to talk about them?
So the point one, they considered it phase point one as a pilot, which would install 5 level 2 chargers on the existing service. So like I said earlier, our infrastructure would allow us to install those chargers without having to do major infrastructure changes. They estimated the total timeframe to be about 18 months. And then we'd be able to apply for the incentives that are available and start the study that they proposed. And they estimated the cost to be between $100,000 and $500,000. Again, I don't believe that includes the buses, but again, we have those 10 vouchers that we'd be able to purchase that would be about the same as the cost of one of our gas buses. And then that would lead into phase one and the design for that.
So theoretically, because this is supposed to be phased in all by 2040, and I know we had on there that the 5-year moratorium is till 2032, we would theoretically have to start around 2030 because it's a 10-year lifespan of the buses, being about 6 to 7 a year, to fit it in by 2040.
So the way I'm looking at this is we have 5 we can put on our current system, correct? I think it's an opportunity to see exactly the pitfalls and everything else that could happen. We don't want to do this all in one shot. We want to know what's going to happen, and it would be a good test to see what's going to happen down the road here before we get into the big numbers. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Ryan, could you go back just one slide to the point one? Before I sit in 0. Yeah, yes, yeah. See where it says phase 0.1 pilot. Here's what we talked about a little bit, and Bob really, I think, is talking about a little bit too. We can find out what the actual cost of that 0.1 piece will be for the district. Okay, because there's still a few question marks. And then bring that back to you, and then we can decide. My biggest concern with the bus piece is that there's still a bit of a gap that I don't know is if it's going to get wider or if it's going to close even after the incentives between the cost of the electric bus versus the emission bus, right? So I think we want to know that, because what that gap is, because everybody on the board knows we use our restricted reserves to buy our buses. And every time we take $20,000 more for a bus out to buy a more expensive bus in the end, after we pay our amount, it's money we're losing. So, but why don't, if the board would like us to do that, we can work with them. We can get like a real cost of that 0.1 pilot, and what it's going to cost on the infrastructure and the bus side,
I mean, we're looking at 18 months anyway, so.
Correct, no,
So it'd be a good idea to just be on top of it, to see what's available to us.
agreed,
Hey, Dan,
yes.
what happens if we went to buy 5 electric buses? What about the diesel buses, the gas? Do we trade them in? Do we hold on to them?
So as of right now, you can trade those in, right? We've recently sold some, so, you know, and I'm guessing they're, well. We don't sell them for much because we use a lot of miles, but I'm guessing a lot of them now may end up going to states where they don't have the same regulations.
For private use.
Private use, sure.
Right, so right now, we're doing, it's like a 10-year turnover, right? Is that what it is?
Correct, yeah, so.
I'm just
so-
wondering what the electric ones are, can we actually go longer? That's a question. You know what I mean?
Good question. 8, I think that might be in the market study too. 8, so you figure 8 years, if we're buying about 7 a year of the actual buses that
Yeah,
we're
that's
using, there's
7, 8 years,
9
yeah.
years.
I was
right?
thinking 6, that's okay. Oh, almost 10.
I think recently they actually reduced the amortization on transportation aid because the zero emission buses, batteries do not last as long as the traditional buses.
And I'm assuming that's also why they say to not charge past 90 and let it drop below 10 because it eliminates more of the half-life of the lithium.
Just like
Yeah.
other batteries, right, that we know, Is that, go ahead.
What is the penalty if you're not in compliance by the time it has to be an issue?
Well, I mean, the way it's set now, it would be huge, right? Like if nothing changed, it would mean you wouldn't get 8. And
Yeah.
quite frankly, you won't be able to buy the other ones. If the law then remains what it is now.
So Town of Niagara Police are driving kids to school.
Car will be an
So, quick question, so these 5 buses will be then replacing one of the 7 that we normally purchase during every year?
Here's what I think we
Yeah,
would do
It's
for
been
all of you,
18
right?
months.
We would get you a broken down
Right.
like cost of what the plan would be. Like, in other words, would we buy 5 extra? Would we replace, right? Because we have so many years to make this change. The issue, if we decided to do both at the same time, would be, of course, the initial upfront cost, even though we get, our aid ratio back. Sound good? We'll be in breakdown, and then you can make the
Sounds good.
decision, all right?
Mhm.
Great. Any other questions?
The other report to the board there is the the April financial report. Any questions of Deanna on that? Okay. All right, any other items for board discussion this time? Any old business?
No.
All right, for new business, we have a couple of things there. I'll have the superintendent just explain those items that are there.
Happy to. There are 3 items there. One is the auditorium use fee schedule, one is the turf field use schedule, and the other one is a facilities use fee schedule. Those have adjustments both as far as the cost that would be associated with our staff, if we need cleaning staff involved. It also has a reduction in the turf field usage for groups that are more than 50% of the individuals in the group are NW based groups. Okay. And we talked about these 3 item schedules at our last board meeting. We made the adjustments to those, and that's what you're looking at.
I do have a question on it,
Yep.
man. Go to the one for the auditorium. Hey, we're going by, pricing it by the day, right?
Correct. A really good example, if you go to the next
That's
page
not a
of
good
this,
one, yeah.
go to there's the second page. So this right here kind of gives you an example. This example, thank you. Use of the auditorium for a 2 dance recital 8-hour each day, right? This kind of breaks down what that cost would work out to based on the number of people. And the idea that the number of people affects it, of course, is because of the number of staff that we'll have to bring on for cleaning and all of those things, right?
No, what I was getting at is you're talking about the recital. Sometimes they want to do they do pre-recital.
Mhm.
So they have practice on a Tuesday,
Yeah.
a Thursday.
They only do it like for a few,
4
you know,
hours.
I don't know. 3, 4,
Sure,
4 hours.
so then
But
we,
that's a day rate, so
so then we would, depending on what the
I'm
day
just, yeah,
was.
okay,
we would
but if they
restrict-
want to look at that, they'd say, oh, I got to pay it. But
I think a part of it is if you can't get another organization in, it's why, and again, we borrowed somebody else's, we haven't had this, we haven't had the demand that we may have for this
yeah,
one,
I
right?
don't know.
With the idea that if you can't get another group in because they're gonna be coming in, getting stuff in, and then they're gonna be packing up. So you're in essence there for the day. Like the chances of having another group be able to utilize it on a day that someone else is already there. And if they come in and they're doing it, they're probably gonna wanna leave their stuff there. If their recitals the next day, they're not gonna wanna move the stuff out, I'm gonna guess. So that, I'm gonna guess, Bob, I wasn't,
Yeah.
well, again, we
Well, I'm
borrowed
just saying-
this. But that was, I think,
I was
the
just
thought
wondering,
behind it, when
yeah.
we talked about
Yeah.
why they would have done that, I think that's why they would have done it.
So the question is, again, I think what Bob was asking, if they, let's say they're settled on a Saturday, if they went 2 days of practice, let's say,
Right.
you know,
They're only
Tuesday,
charging
Thursday,
The dance
is
or
that all
whatever.
of a sudden $12,000 as a,
I think, again, the cost per day, if they can't move if their plan was to leave their stuff in there for those nights because they're practicing kind of like our school musicals do, right? Once they're in there and they're doing their rehearsals, they're in there and nobody else is. If we can't utilize it, if another group couldn't utilize it, they would then have that space. So we would be charging them some hourly rate. If it wasn't a daily rate, we would have to come up with something.
Now with the turf fields, did you stay with capping it at 6 hours?
We did, you can see that right in the column. It says no more than 6 hours will be charged for the cat.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
there's no other questions. I'll call for motion to approve all 3 of those fee schedules.
So moved.
Okay, any further discussion of those? Now then, all those in favor, then please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Motion carries. All right, any other new business? All right, public comments, open mic night. All right, board member comments. And congratulations to our new members and to our new hires. Welcome to the Falcon family. And gentlemen, anything for you
Same
guys?
thing. Congratulations to the boys and Don and Stephanie.
Okay,
Ditto.
hey, you have to do new member speeches tonight.
Oh, I do.
In-
Yes.
Thanks.
Well done.
All right, if there's no other board member comments, I'll call for a motion to enter executive session for